We might, because
we could. We should. I think we should.
Yeah, long and hard.
Yeah.
Shit, we're live.
Welcome, everyone, to the 10K Rum Podcast. My name is Amos Joseph. I'm joined by my co-host, Brook Potter, who is in the UK. How's it going, Brook?
It's going well. It's going well. I'm happy to report we missed you on Sunday for Religion Zero with our fabulous guest, Robo Tomasi, that came on.
You're happy?
I am happy because we had snow out here in Wales for the first time. No, the second time in quite a while. Like some decent, like you oversee the window and all the, the flakes are falling. Yeah. It's like, oh, wow, that's so pretty, So I'm very happy about that. It's making the lockdown a little bit nicer, at least when I look outside. It's a winter wonderland, even though it's not really winter and there's nothing but cars outside. But yeah, it's been a very interesting week. And, seeing as there's not much going on in the world since we're all locked down here, a lot of things to talk about. Things just keep getting better and better about things to talk about. So I'm looking forward to today's show. How are you doing?
I'm doing well. We didn't get snow, but where I'm going, there's already some snow. Sweet. So for everyone who's not quite in the loop, I guess, I didn't mention this quite yet, but I'm meeting up with the Masculine Geek guys out in Gettysburg, Pennsylvania. They're doing a meetup there later this week, so I'm heading out tomorrow to meet up with someone halfway there, and then we're both driving out there. I just took my car in today, get everything checked out, got some stuff figured out, so we're gonna head out that way. Other than that, I don't know what else. There's not really too much going on. I mean, if you look at the title of the episode today, there's obviously nothing going on. Nothing important.
Nothing going on.
We didn't talk about this at all because I didn't catch on to it last week till like right after our show.
Yes.
So GameStop.
It's not just GameStop.
GameStop, AMC, BlackBerry, Nokia, freaking. There was another one called Sundial Growers that I saw was popping up. So Dogecoin, Bitcoin, like everything's
what we're really talking about is Reddit r/Wall Street Bets, where all this has all been concocted and is basically taken all the heat off the Biden administration and the fuckery that they're doing and given people something to talk about.
Now, let me just ask you this. Did you ever hear of Wall Street's Bets before all this?
No. I'm not a big Reddit user apart from like the dank memes, and I do have a subreddit there. I think it's like r/Brook_Potter, where I used to post all of my articles and stuff, and like videos from ministry.
I can make a subreddit, and we could do a 10K Rum subreddit.
Yeah. I was going to say that, as I say, I don't really use it. It's not a place, but I think maybe we should at least post the episodes there. So that's not a bad idea. But no, I was not into Wall Street Bets. I was into r/stocks, r/investing. And I'm in a couple Forex groups as well, which kind of later they mirrored a lot of the stuff from Wall Street Bets. So I was caught completely off guard with this entire thing. But holy shit, it's just been a complete fucking circus.
So I've heard of Wall Street's Bets a couple of years ago. I saw some video and it was like someone was saying, the Wall Street's Bets subreddit. And the impression I got was they were like, it's a cocaine-fueled autism to the max place where you see some of the craziest bets going up and down and sideways, like people that turn into millionaires overnight, people who lose millions overnight, people who everything in between, really. Yeah. It's the full spectrum of, and understand when for the viewers and for the listeners, when I use the term autism, I'm not like not the literal autism, but autism in the internet sense of just sort of that complete and total focus, or just how would you describe internet autism?
They described it perfectly. If you understand internet culture, they say it's a place where 4chan basically met a Bloomberg terminal illness. And that's pretty accurate. Like 4chan
I called it like the 4chan of day trading.
Well, it's more than that. It is more than just day trading, because what they're doing now is not day trading, but yeah, it's some wild ideas.
If 4chan landed in the New York Stock Exchange, like
it's like meme culture that came out of Wall Street. It's stupid shit. And I mean, if you read some of the history, like once I found out I was going on, I went and people are really fucked up in that space, right? These people are not.
People have also made ridiculous amounts of money.
Not a lot. I mean,
not a lot.
The whole thing about being like big in that place is like posting your losses and kind of doing ridiculous shit in the market. Like some guy got a full delivery of oil delivered to his house. Another guy like completely.
Back to the oil thing.
He got like a delivery. So there's a lot of history. There's a lot of stuff to it. But yeah, these people have completely taken over the media cycle. What's fantastic as well is that you're seeing how the media cycle is just completely imploding, lying to the general public in trying to curtail what they're doing.
Yeah.
So we could probably start at the beginning with this in terms of
excuse me. With the winter weather and everything. And with my job involving going outside, I'm not sick. It's just there's dryness, irritation because I'm running around a lot. So that's what it is. But so Melvin Capital, is a hedge fund. It was founded in 2014. Is what I found out. Yeah. They were doing pretty well. And around December, they made a short. Now, again, just like everyone has probably heard a million times, a short is basically, in a nutshell, is a bet against a stock. You're betting that the value of a stock or a security will drop in a certain amount of time. And the way you make money with that is you borrow an amount of stocks from a brokerage, I'm guessing. Yeah, from a brokerage. Yes. So you borrow it at a certain value, and then you sell that. So now you have cash, but you have an equal amount of debt that is now owed to that because it's a reflection. That debt is more in stock numbers instead of dollar amounts. So then you're hoping the price of that stock goes down, so that you buy back the stocks and you keep the difference because now it's a cheaper stock. Then you return those stocks to the brokerage.
Correct.
That's in a nutshell.
Going short, yes.
Yeah. So Melvin Capital made a big short on the GameStop stock back in December, and this has to be published. This bet has to be revealed publicly, and was it Deep Fucking Value that found out about it?
I think it was Deep Fucking Value. He was the one who noticed that it was
to help with YouTube. We'll just say DFV. I think.
Right. Well, I mean, we're not monetized, so I don't think it's going to be hugely important. Yeah. But even before DFV was in it, there was another guy. He was posting early on about buying the call options. I can't remember his name now. He was actually doing a lot of research into what the company was doing. And his proposition was, look, when the new terminals come out, so the Xbox and the PS5 and stuff like that, there's a bounce in the price of GameStop because people go there to buy terminals. They go there to buy the new games and to browse and stuff like that. Now, GameStop, for anybody who doesn't know, is a brick and mortar game kind of, it's a game shop.
Yes.
And it's not a great business model because you could get all your games online. There's subscriptions for Xbox. There's subscriptions for the PS5. I think Nintendo is the same thing.
Yeah, so, digital games and such. They did come out with a subscription model where you can do like a kind of like early Netflix where you could basically rent games.
Correct. So
but that wasn't really taking off.
Yes. So that in the overall scheme of things, the business model is not great. And they really have not seemed to have adapted to the changing electronic market.
Plus, even now.
Yeah. So this
with now stores being so limited, even
with the pandemic, it's an even worse business model.
Right.
So I want to make it very clear. Look, short sellers, they're not all evil. Some people are kind of putting them out there, right? It sounds very un-American to bet against an American company. But the truth of the matter is sometimes these people actually serve a very important role in correcting misgivings of the market. So the Enron scandal, for instance, WorldCom, the collapse of WorldCom, it was the short sellers basically putting pressure on these Ponzi schemes in the market that finally kind of cracked it and revealed a lot of the nonsense that was going on. So they're not all bad guys. We can say that.
Yeah, because I was looking into, I was, and you probably know who I'm talking about. I've had conversations with people about this. And I was taking the stance of, Melvin Capital is like the bad guy, complete bad guy. They're screwing over the market and all this stuff. And I was even like digging through the internet and I found, you've heard of short and distort?
Yeah.
And I thought it was like that kind of thing because I found articles that were saying like, hey, GameStop might be a little undervalued as a stock. But I'm going to come out and admit, because people are probably going to be wondering, it's just making money, really, with Wall Street. But because people were trying to say, oh, the Wall Street bets guys are bad and Melvin Capital's not bad. I'm thinking, no one's really bad. Everyone's just taking advantage of the market.
Correct. But I mean, I would say that it is quite possible that the short and distort, or what they say is like this, the selling pressure on GameStop was excessive because they somehow managed to, and this is with the use of options and derivatives, they shorted 150% of the shares available, which is ridiculous. That's like excessive pressure.
Did you see the theory that there's a suspicion that there are more stocks than are supposed to be in existence?
I haven't heard about that.
Someone, and now granted, this is Wall Street's bets, so there's a lot of crazy stuff that gets posted, but
right,
I found something that was talking about the possibility that there are more stocks in existence than there are supposed to be for GameStop.
Okay.
That sometimes certain brokerages or hedge funds will basically cook the books to make it look like there's more stocks. And no one really double checks this. So it just looks, so then there will be like millions of stocks more. I don't know if it's possible. I'm not, I read it and I mean, I don't know enough. I'll probably have to send it to you. So we'll look it over.
I'll have to take a look. What ends up happening is you have different types of stocks. So you can have like a series A, B, C, and D, and only the D is listed, but there's series A, B, and C, which are private. So they might have like preferred private shares and other things like that. So yeah, that's possible, but you can't really say that there's more liquid stock.
Right.
Because every year they have to put out an annual report. Every quarter they have to put out a 10K, which basically says this is how many shares, this is the valuation, and this is how much money they've earned per share. So I mean, they could have more shares that are not public, but if it's public, they really should disclose it.
Yeah.
But the point I was making about the excessive shorts is one of the guys on it who was actually buying call options. He was buying call options at $8 a share, which is a derivative contract. He was hyping that GameStop should be worth more because of the new consoles that had come out. And when he saw that it wasn't going up, that's when he kind of realized Melvin Capital, and they're not alone. There are a lot of other companies that have jumped on the short, but had oversubscribed the short and made the price artificially low. And as you're saying, it's not
right.
being good or bad, but it is when there's that much pressure, the price is no longer organic. It's not a true market.
Right. Now, I'd say for me, I kind of understand what a call option is. Yeah. Just explain it for me, I guess, and also for the listeners.
Yeah. So a call option is basically a contract where you can, let's say you have a car, and the car you buy, the car is worth $1,000 today, right? But I say, well, maybe in like 3 years' time, it's going to be worth half that. So I want the option from you to buy the car for $500. US dollars, right? And I'm willing to pay $20 for the option, right?
It's kind of an IOU.
It's a contract. I could execute it or not. So okay, so let's say you pay, you take the $20, I get the contract. So in 2 years, I have the right to buy your car for $500, right? Mm-hmm. So then what ends up happening? Maybe your car suddenly becomes a classic, right? And suddenly everybody wants your car. Now it's not worth $1,000 anymore. It's worth $5,000. But I have the option to buy it for $500. So the option is basically
kind of lock in a price,
an individual contract. Exactly. And in 2 years it expires. So if in 2 years, it could be worthless. Mm-hmm. So an option is basically a contract. So a call option is when you expect the price to go up. So in our example, if the car is worth $1,000 and I expect it to become a classic and be $5,000, I might get an option for me to say, okay, well, I'll buy it in 2 years for $1,000, basically what you pay now. And you can take it or leave it. Cool. I'm expecting it to go up. If it goes up to $5,000, I execute the option, buy the car from you for $1,000 and resell it for $5,000 and make the $4,000 spread. A put option is the reverse, where I expect the price to go down. So as it should be, right? So maybe your car doesn't become a classic. I get the option to say, all right, I will allow you to. How would that work with a car? I'm not sure how that would work with a car. Basically, it's the short of the option. It's basically expecting the price to go down, and so you sell it high in the same way you do a short, and you buy it back low in that kind of stuff. So, but it's not a real stock. It's just a contract that's drawn up out of nothing. So they're very cheap to buy. There's heavy leverage, which is why the short interest on GameStop is over 100%. So these are like contracts outside the stock itself. And they're very cheap, but the problem is they expire. So the longer you hold it, the more it decays.
So catching on to this, the Wall Street's Bets subreddit community, basically. So DFV put 50 grand on GameStop, like just before the turn of the new year.
Yeah, he did it in September of last year.
Wait, what?
Yeah, he's been touting this for a while. This is not actually.
But the short came out in December, didn't it?
But he has been hyping GameStop for a while, and he expected the Christmas season to be a bounce. He was already in the position before that, and when there wasn't a bounce,
why he's worth so much right now.
Yeah, when there wasn't a bounce, that's when he's started digging and realize they're oversubscribed on the shorts.
Because so he put in 50 grand. Which is now worth,
I think he's at 30 million or something for his whole position.
Well, I think it's because for my last I saw it was to 20 million. Like he's been holding this whole time.
Yes.
He hasn't sold anything because he's sending in his results every day.
Yes.
Even if somehow GameStop crashes down to below 100 or even 50, he's still making a lot.
Yeah, he's still in the green, and I think as of today it dipped below 100, but we'll get to that.
Yeah. So this rally basically went all the way up to.
Wait! You jump in the gun. You jump in the gun.
No. Hold on.
Right.
So people started buying it.
No, they realized something was afoot, that this bounce didn't happen, and that's when the Wall Street's Bets came together as a team and basically said they saw that the hedge funds had oversubscribed, and it's like, well, fuck the hedge funds. We're going to give them what's called a short squeeze.
Yeah.
So thousands of these Redditors decide to buy.
Yeah. They all buy. And really what it came out of was a lot of them started buying with their stimulus checks.
Yes.
Because this entire thing it was kind of like, here we have a hedge fund that is leveraging all this capital, and it's risky for them, and they're pretty much just, screw them. Like, how can they get away with such a risky bet? Well, we're over here just with our little $600 check. So hundreds, thousands, maybe
Possibly
more,
thousands, yeah, maybe
thousands of stimulus checks all go into buying on GameStop. And yeah, some people have made, a few $100. Some people have made a few thousand. Some people have made tens of thousands.
Yeah, a few have made millions.
Yeah, and then the thing is yeah, some people have posted about how like they went from having a few bucks to put into a Robinhood account to now more than enough money to make ends meet for the next couple months. Yes. Which is it's not major, but it's just such a thing.
It's better than it was. Absolutely.
Yeah. So with this, because here's where this is the short squeeze that everyone was talking about. With them shorting, but then Wall Street Bets essentially squeezing that.
Buying, yes.
Buying, the price goes up, and they have to, and then in a short, it's not a payback of money per se, it's a payback of shares.
Correct.
So now those shares that they owe to the brokerages, they have to buy back
at a higher price.
So they're in debt and then more debt. And then there's, the margin call, right. Basically where they have to start buying some to sort of cover the losses they're already incurring at this point.
Correct. So,
that's just more debt with more stocks, raising the price even further.
Yes. So what ended up happening is when Wall Street Bets, and this was fully out in the open apparently, decided to buy, it was early on, $7 a share is kind of like, where the consensus was. So a lot of people jumped in very early. And what ends up happening as the hedge funds is, as I say, they're in a short position. Some of them were at $3 a share, $4 a share, expecting to basically go to zero. When the price goes up, you have to return and buy back the shares at a higher price, as you rightly explained. So, and in doing so, in the buying back of the shares, you push the price higher as well, because so they're not really helping their position. Yeah. Now, the margin is this. If you have $10,000 in the account and you say you use half of that to buy, to short GameStop shares, you have $5,000 cash in the account to kind of buffer any losses in the interim while you wait for your position. So the stock may not go in the direction you want immediately. It's going to move in another direction, but you have enough money to cover those losses until you close the position. But when the price starts to go up exponentially, and it went up like 3,000%, the hedge funds themselves do not have as much cash on hand to cover that spread or that margin for the move of the position. Now, if it's an average retail broker, they will sell your position. Like automatically, the broker will not let you lose more money than you have in the account. At least they should. I have heard stories where people, they've racked up hundreds of thousands more than they had in the accounts and stuff. But I think there's a law now, mostly that doesn't happen.
Yeah.
Hedge funds, not so much. All right. The hedge funds can lose more money than they have on the books.
And they got bailed out.
Right. So they got bailed out from other hedge funds that basically had to sell assets to cover the margin of these positions. And so for Melvin Capital, it was $2.7 billion that had to be injected.
And then they shorted again.
Well, wait. Before they did that, this is why I have a problem with what has happened with this whole thing. When they realized what was going on, Robinhood and these other companies suddenly changed the rules. So when the little guy gets fucked over, it's bailout, they're done. They don't get anything. But when the hedge funds get in, fuckery, they get, too big to fail. They get money from the government. They change the rules. They do all these other things. Now, hedge funds have been doing this shit for years. Mm-hmm. And it's complicit in the media. They come up with a story. They all take these short positions. They call their reporter friends at CNBC and Bloomberg and Vox and all these places to write shitty articles about a company. The stock, short, the price goes down, they make a killing, right? They've been manipulating the market for years.
That's a legitimate short and just distort then.
Yeah, it is. Well, it's a pump and dump, basically, right? It's the same thing. You're doing it in the other direction. You're not pumping it up. You're pumping it down.
Yeah, those are both opposite types of tactics. There's the pump and dump where you buy to raise a price. Short and distort is you short to distort the value lower to make money on your short.
Correct. And the hedge funds, banks, everybody's been doing this shit. I think there was there's a Bloomberg messaging system that goes around to all the terminals around the world. And they do this shit all the time, right? So they've been manipulating the market. But when the little guy starts to do it, and as you say, it really did help some people. Like some people really made some money. It made things a lot easier for them. I think one kid said he's buying a house. Another one says he's paying off his like college loans or whatever the case was. But what they did is they cut off the buying opportunity for all the Robinhood people.
Now, something I learned about the Robinhood thing, because initially everyone jumped on Robinhood like, hey, you're cutting us off, you're manipulating, you're forcing us all to sell.
Yes.
Robinhood is now coming around saying the reason they had to stop everything is because a lot of people were buying on margin, and they simply didn't have the capital to back any of those buys. Because they have to cover for all of those until all the funds settle, or at least there's only so much before
that makes
someone
sense.
Was saying basically so many people were signing up for Robinhood to just buy shares, and they just couldn't quite cover everything because the money doesn't get there right away when you deposit your money. It
doesn't matter. It doesn't matter because the clearing system takes 2 days to clear anyway with the stock market. So once they get notification of the transfer, they will let you trade on margin. And by taking away that margin until it clears, but by taking away that margin, they're basically, breaking the contract because so that makes no sense in that respect. The problem was that is when I had a real issue with it. When they changed the rules where y'all couldn't buy, because you have a Robinhood account.
Yeah.
You guys were not allowed to buy any more shares. And actually, even to today, I think today as well, the minute
you only buy so many.
They've only given you like 1 or 2 shares or something ridiculous. Like, not that they're
some of them, they have a chart that shows all the stocks that they're allowing you so much to buy or sell.
Yes. And here's the thing. Citadel, which is one of the massive hedge funds, has a huge stake in Melvin Capital
and Robinhood.
And I was about to say they are the clearing house for Robinhood trading. Right. So they're looking at this and being like, no. And there's even reports that possibly even the White House was calling Robinhood like, you have to stop this sort of thing. So this is why I really, that's when I kind of jumped on it and like, I support these guys because they're really sticking it to the hedge funds. These people have been getting away with murder.
It was a massive wealth transfer.
Yes.
Through the market rather than through some sort of bailout or taxes or stimulus, because it's kind of a growing, I'd say it's a growing people are more and more just frustrated with the system constantly favoring the rich when we have these massive like recessions and just market turns where 2008 and just anytime there's a recession
with the .com and
anytime these big funds lose money, the government steps in. They'll give us some breadcrumbs while they give them the big cuts to stay in business. And this is just a bunch of guys, and with the overwhelming majority of the people on Wall Street bets tend to be your everyday person. They're just like, hey, I'm going to buy this. It's going to go up this much, and then I'm going to cash out, and I got my money from these hedge funds.
Right. That's for some people.
For some people, I mean,
but that's not what the community is doing. The community is still
the bigger picture is to basically squeeze the living daylights out of these hedge funds that are
balls of the hedge funds.
Diamond hands and all that.
Diamond hands, right? Which do not let go. And it's a very simple formula in the sense because they have to sell to get out of their shorts. you need buyers. But if the Wall Street Bets people are holding all the shares and there are no shares to buy, they're stuck into the position and they will not be able to get out. So that is the big thing, which is why they said it. Look, we expect to lose money on this. This is not, it was never designed to be a winning trade. This was designed to be a fuck you to the financial system. So many of them made millions, and now they're on the way down because the price has been crashing ever since, and they're fine with it. They're like, they've accepted they're going to lose this money.
The crash though is being attributed to a lot of other brokerages that are now stopping trades too around the world.
Correct. So I know Interactive Brokers, who I used to use, they've frozen it. So I will never sign an account with Interactive Brokers when I get back into the market. I'll go with somebody else. I think eToro sent a message. There are like a lot of these small brokerage houses did the same thing. They basically limited the buys. And there's even been some reports where their positions have been sold against their will.
Yeah.
So there's a massive class action suit that's coming against the brokerage houses. But the hedge funds are kind of like, fine. It's cheaper for us to settle these class action suits than to lose all these billions in the hedge fund.
Yeah.
So they're going to take it on the head. But here's where it gets scary. And I think this is the concern for most people. At least they should be if you're paying attention. So, okay, today is the 2nd of February, 2021. Wall Street Bets is still holding GameStop, Bed Bath & Beyond, Nokia, and the stocks that we listed. And that is their focus.
Mm-hmm.
But if you were to go on to Google at this point, in fact, even before this, there was suddenly a push for Doge, which is the cryptocurrency, right? The joke cryptocurrency. So Bitcoin is open source. He took the source code, reproduced it, and basically said, Dogecoin.
The big difference with Dogecoin is there's no cap.
But no, it's a much bigger cap. It's like 128 billion versus the 26 million.
No, it's produces like fiat.
No, I don't think he it's not like a mining thing. But there is a limit because he basically copied the Bitcoin algorithm. Doesn't matter. Anyways, it's a joke. It's a joke at the end of the day. Yeah. It was worth like fractions of a penny. So the day after, like the first run up when GameStop hit like 420 or whatever the case was, which Elon Musk was supporting. He's like 420 guys, and they did it. So,
420.69.
Yeah, 420.69. The next day you suddenly hear about Dogecoin, right? All the Redditors are jumping on Dogecoin and stuff. And that's when I got wind of it. And I bought
8 cents.
Yeah, it was like less than a penny, and it jumped up to about a high of 8 cents. In the UK, it's like 5 pence. And I bought into it like at a penny, and I basically doubled a penny and a half or something. I doubled my money and whatever, but I knew it was a pump and dump. And when you read the board, when you went back to Wall Street Bets, they were like, do not buy Dogecoin. This is the hedge funds and the market trying to get people out of GameStop, out of Bed Bath & Beyond, and chase this next big thing. Didn't work. Now, as of Friday, again, if you're hearing the rumors and everything like that, the next big thing was silver. And if you go on Google right now, anybody listening, if you go on Google right now, and you type in silver price, you will see the Wall Street Journal, CNN, Washington Post, BBC, Reuters, all of the big news outlets. If you go onto YouTube, all of the big silver traders all saying that the Wall Street Reddit traders have targeted silver as their next play. And within like up to yesterday, I think silver ran up to like the highs of like $30 per share, like the high of the last 8 years or whatever the case might be. But if you go on to the actual board, the Wall Street Bets, you will see a sign saying, do not buy silver. Buying silver helps the hedge funds, make a profit to cover their losses over this thing. This is not their play. This has nothing to do with them.
So they're trying to get us to pump and dump for them.
So the hedge funds are using the media and saying this is the Wall Street Bets to get everybody to buy silver to pump up their silver holdings to cover the losses from GameStop and these other things. And it is a blatant lie. You can go on. I'm going all over YouTube right now because I'm just being bombarded with silver posts. And, the Redditors are doing this, the Redditors. And I go, Wall Street Bets is not buying silver. These people have been buying silver for years, been waiting for a bull market for like the last 50 years.
Yeah.
So they are pumping it. I don't know if they're complicit or they're just stupid, but they're trying to say this is the Wall Street Bets thing, and it's not. It's absolute bullshit. And that's what's scary. The media, the YouTubers, the broker dealers, everybody is trying to use everything that they can to pull these people out of GameStop and these other stocks so the price would drop. And as of today, it went sub $100. I think it made it to about $60 or somewhere around there. Then a fresh wave of buying came in and the regulators pulled the switch. They stopped it again.
Here we go. There are new limits that they just put out today on Robinhood.
Right. What are they giving you guys? What pits inside?
The new table shows the maximum number of shares and option contracts to which you can increase your positions. Please note that these are aggregate limits for each security and not per order limits. And it includes options and shares that you already hold. These could be subject to change throughout the day. AMC 1250, EXPR 3000, GME 100. So you can only own 100 shares.
You can only buy 100 shares or own. Right. So yeah, thanks.
So I don't know if they're like just dumping people.
It's possible. If you have over 100 shares, they might cut your account. They might actually sell the shares
or freeze it somehow to like you can't like you can only sell or whatever.
Yeah. That's very and that's what I think is the shady shit as far as I'm concerned. Look, the hedge funds, the banks, all these people have been doing this fucking shit forever. It's always the little guy that loses. The market is rigged against, everybody. The whole business model of Robinhood, commission-free trading, is very simple. They know that 90% of traders are going to lose 90% of their money within the first 90 days, right? This is like a rule of trading. Mm-hmm. So basically, as the broker, all you got to do to make money is whatever the client does, you just do the exact opposite, which means that 90% of the time you're going to make 90% of your money within the next 90 days.
And even with the GameStop thing, a lot of people understood that for anyone who has any hope of making money, only about 10% of the people are going to make any money.
Yes. But it was never about making money. It was always about...
I mean, like I had told you how much I put. I just threw in some money to kind of just see if it makes money, it's fine. If I break even better.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you're not part of the Wall Street Bets community and you're not part of that movement. I would be the same thing. If I have a friend of mine in Norway, he threw some money into it. And this is before I knew what was going on because I'm not really in the market very much. And he came back and the first thing I thought was, oh shit, fuck, the Fed is printing money and they're pumping money into the bonds of these dead companies, right? I think I even made that comment to you when you first showed me, like, yeah, money print to go brewery, dead company walking. I didn't know what was going on, right?
Well, have you seen all the billboards they've bought now?
Right, I was gonna get into that, right? And not only the billboards, the planes. Somebody bought one of those planes to fly over.
Yeah, someone dropped an ad at Times Square.
Yeah.
It just said Jimmy Go Burr, and it just showed like the candlesticks. I was just like,
yeah. Somebody flew a plane with a banner behind it that says "Hold GME," right, and fly it over the Robinhood head office. It was great. I'm sure most people have no fucking clue what's going on, which is fine.
Yeah, I mean, when I was at the shop getting my car work done, I was like almost gonna be like, so you guys hear about this GameStop thing? Like just
yeah. And which is good. That's as people learn about it, more people might jump in and they might actually push the price up even more.
Yeah, a lot of people are just sharing the memes because they love
The memes are great. As the guy Blunt Person once said it. He's in the Wall Street. They said we could remain retarded longer than they can stay solvent.
Exactly. It's
brilliant.
not about the money. It's about sending a message.
It is. It really is. Like literally the Joker meme of burning the money. That's exactly what's going on. Because they just want the hedge funds to take the loss. And they don't mind burning.
And what's his name? He's a venture capitalist, Chamath.
Not sure. The Indian guy, I'm not sure.
Indian guy.
So
he's a former Facebook executive that went on to create his own fund called Social Capital. So it's because he owns it. He is basically like he's a billionaire, but he's also running for governor of California.
Okay, interesting.
And one of his great positions that I liked, so he wants to basically make California into kind of like the new eco-green capital of the world.
Right. Okay.
But zero income tax.
Right. I don't think that's going to fly, but okay, cool. I like it.
He basically he wants, because he understands California's screwed, and he wants to like become governor to basically undo a lot of the damage. To not only keep the people that are already there, but invite people to come back.
Right, right.
But anyways, he was speaking. I remember when the Wall Street thing first took off, and they have him on, and he's just like, they're like, so, they're asking him what he thinks, and he goes, no, I think it's a good thing. And they're like, what? Because he runs a fund, and they're like, aren't you like worried about this? And he goes, you should be expecting a lot of this in the future with just how much information is out there. This is not the end of Wall Street's bets and what they're going to do. They're going to be coming out and doing this more with companies that they feel are over leveraging their positions to make risky trades, and they think if they feel that it's not right that these people don't face consequences, they'll just step in and do make bets to be like, hey, don't screw with the market like that. It is like, if they're doing it, why is it so bad when we're doing it?
Correct. Absolutely correct. And believe you me, the game is rigged, right? The stocks are fucking rigged.
It says something big too when across the political spectrum, left, right, top, bottom, everyone, the libertarians, people with AOC and her left-leaning people, the Bernie bros, it's a lot of conservatives, like everyone, the populists, essentially the populist types of idea, movements across the spectrum are all coming together and like, screw these guys. Because no matter what side of the spectrum you're on, not the spectrum, but political spectrum you're on, we can all agree that Wall Street screws with us all the time.
Yes. And look, I don't mind them doing their own shit in the market, but we end up bailing them out, right? So even in the UK,
if they had consequences, we wouldn't care as much.
Which is the point I was going to make. Like, if you fuck up and you deal with your fuck up and you own it, fine. But why do my fucking tax dollars have to go and bail your fucking ass out, right? That's what's pissing off everybody. And you're right. The young Republicans in New York are calling for a second occupation of Wall Street. So Occupy Wall Street back in the 2000s?
Yeah.
The young Republicans are calling for it now. But on the point you were making on the political side, it was the few times AOC actually put out something that I actually agreed with, which was she called out Robinhood like, why aren't you letting the people trade? Like, you have to answer for this, and Ted Cruz actually agreed with her, right? He's like, yeah, I actually agree with this. But then she fucked it up because she's a fucking hack, right? She's a political hack. And she's like, oh, yeah, I'm willing to work on any GOP on this issue, but you, Ted Cruz, you almost got me murdered at the Capitol, so I will not be working with you. But what you see is the division of the crony establishment. Elizabeth Warren is defending the hedge funds. Fucking Elizabeth Warren. Why?
Of course.
Because she's in bed with Wall Street. All these crony people are in bed with Wall Street.
Yeah.
Even the woman that's been put in charge of the Treasury, what's her name? Janet Yellen. She did a speech with Citadel, and she was paid like $750,000 or something like that.
$1 million in speaking fees.
Yeah, at least after taxes, probably $750,000 or whatever. Yeah, so at least $1 million in speaking fees.
If she pays taxes.
Yeah, fucking knows. She's now in charge of the Treasury.
Yeah.
Right. So who do you think? Why do you think they paid that money? You think they really wanted to hear her perspective on macroeconomics? No, they're fucking buying influence. If they fuck up, it's gonna be the Treasury that bails them out.
Yeah.
That's what's sickening. That is what's sickening. And yeah, hey, Redditors, fucking more power to you, man. Absolutely.
Yeah. Man, we just spent the first half of the show talking about GameStop.
No, I mean, to be fair, it is the biggest thing that's going on. Right.
Yeah. I like the one where it's like, day 20 of the pandemic, made my first sourdough, and day 100 this, and guess we're locking down, and day this, and they're like day 300 and something. So Wall Street, the takedown of Wall Street hedge funds is going well. Like,
I love the one with the dancing pole bearers, Nigerian pole bearers.
Oh yeah.
With all the Wall Street bets and one of Elon Musk, and they're carrying Melvin Capital in the coffin. Yeah, it's fucking brilliant, man.
Okay. This one I wanted to talk about quick because can I click on this? No, that's not it. Go back. So, did we ever talk about, so we talked a little bit about the Capitol before, but did we talk about the whole thing where like libertarians are being like labeled as like, lumped in and all this? Okay, so we've had Spike Cohen on a couple of times, and he put out a tweet talking about how like again, I have to say this because this is kind of where this article is going that he appeared in. He made a joke about how basically like, what's his name? It was an Obama CIA director, Brannon.
Okay. Yeah.
Basically kind of like made this comment of we're going to come in with laser-like focus to crack down on like, domestic terrorists.
Yeah, we talked about this.
Right. Did I talk about what Spike tweeted about though?
Yeah, about how this is good because the CIA will start running money and guns to us. Yeah, we discussed this.
And then the whole thing how USA Today fact-checked him.
Oh, I didn't know that.
So that tweet got fact-checked on Twitter. And USA Today reached out to him.
Right.
To see how serious he was.
Right.
Now, for the viewers, it's this is the article we're showing here. So Madeline No reached out to Spike.
Yeah.
And interviewed him. Basically like, hey, like, was this satire? Like,
this is where we've reached, where people can't even tell.
The claim. First off, there is no claim. He didn't claim anything. The Biden administration labeled libertarians as terrorists. They did not.
No.
And he didn't claim that. Correct. So he tweeted out, a silver lining to the Biden administration labeling libertarians terrorists is that the CIA will probably start giving us money and weapons now. Yes. He wrote on January 22nd. The Facebook post garnered 13,000 reactions, 5,000 shares. And it says alleged. He didn't allege anything.
Correct.
And then right after that, the post was satire. There is no evidence that Biden has labeled libertarians as terrorists. And then they're like, he said in an interview that his post was intended to be satire. It was intended as a joke, and it was overwhelmingly received as one.
This is your fucking media.
And then like it just no evidence of Biden labeling libertarians. We know.
Yeah.
The whole thing, like the whole thing was a joke. The whole thing.
Yeah. Well, this is the thing with leftists and communists. They don't have a sense of humor, right? They don't understand nuance. They don't understand context. They don't understand satire, right? Because all words are violence, right? So everything has to be taken literally in this new progressive age that they've come down on. You know, the whole premise of behind 1984 Newspeak was attack on language. So they don't get language. They don't get nuance. They don't get any of these things. So I'm not surprised that they got fact checked
and then at the end
wrong.
Satire again. Now,
yeah, they don't understand this stuff.
Having talked to Spike about it, he told us about the interview because I'm still getting updates on this. She asked him 4 different times in a 5-minute, 4-minute interview.
Yeah.
So you meant this to be satire? Yes. So when you're writing the tweet, it was meant to be a joke? Yes. And it was received as such. So none of this you were trying to claim is real. It was a joke. Like it was statements like that, kind of roundabout, trying to get like, yes, it was a joke.
I mean, I don't know why you're surprised because
no, it was just, but like
this is your media. This is the media that's been lying to you for 4 years about President Trump, basically calling the storming of the Capitol with Granny the worst event since Pearl Harbor and 9/11. They're lying to you straight up about buying silver and claiming it's the Redditors when it's not. These people fucking lie. They don't know what the hell's going on.
Yeah, and I'm looking at this, I'm like, and he's just like, he's trying to keep a straight face when he's talking to like.
I would not even bother to do the interview.
Well, because here's the problem with that, because of the fact checking.
Yeah.
And if this happens too many times, especially on like verified accounts like his,
yeah,
it messes with the algorithms.
So what?
So then he can't get as much. The big thing with him is trying to reach more people with, tweets about liberty and all this. And if they keep coming at him with these fact checks,
it's not going to matter if they're going to. He's probably throttled as it is.
Oh no, I agree with you. It's just, but he had made the point. This is that whole struggle with social media is anyone who is to the right of Bernie Sanders or AOC is immediately like, everything's fact checked. You can't joke about anything. Yeah. You're getting suppressed in the media. Which, speaking of, so Steven Crowder, I don't know if you heard about this yesterday.
Lawsuit?
Huh?
The lawsuit that he's in?
Yeah. Well, the lawsuit he just started.
Right. Okay, go ahead.
Facebook.
Yes.
So his lawyer, Bill Richmond, is going to be suing Facebook now, and they made this very clear, which I liked, how they described it. Facebook has every right to do whatever the heck they want. If they want to censor content, they can censor content. It's a problem when they're lying about it.
Correct.
Because they're doing it.
Yes.
A lot of people know they're doing it, but they've gone to hearing after hearing saying they're not doing it.
Correct. They're guilty of perjury before the Senate and elsewhere. Yeah, I agree.
Yeah. So that's what they're going to go after them for. They're like, hey, and then when they did that, they did a stream yesterday for their show. They said, yeah, we're like, this is our last stream we're doing on Facebook because we're suing them.
Yeah.
Like, he's like, YouTube, we're fine with them for now. Yeah. But if they're going to go and continue to lie about these things, excuse me, they're going to continue with this. And, and he even kind of did a drawing a line in the sand with Republicans.
Right.
And this is kind of what I'm seeing, what I've kind of seen like since pretty much, I don't know, since kind of the beginning of the year, but maybe a little before then.
Right.
There's a big split in the Republican Party right now.
Well, yeah, that's happened since the election of last year, and you were seeing who was actually supporting Trump and who wasn't. Yeah, that's when the cracks really happen. It's the rhinos versus I guess the patriots or the populists, I suppose.
Yeah, populists versus establishment Republicans.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think we talked about that. Like, there's pretty much 4 different factions. There's 2 factions in each of the major parties: populist versus establishment.
Yes.
So it's pretty much kind of your Bernie AOC with the left versus your like Warren,
Biden,
Schumer, Pelosi.
Yeah, the established people.
Yeah. And then Republicans is kind of a little bit of Lindsay, maybe.
Establishment, yeah, Lindsey Graham. Who else?
McConnell,
Mittens Romney. All of those.
Mittens Romney.
Yeah, that's what. Fuck, I can't remember who calls him that, but yeah, Mittens. These are the crony warhawk, the type of people versus the populist, which would be kind of the Rand Paul, Ted Cruz, Trump, and I mean, there's a whole wave of new ones that are coming up now. But yeah, they've lost the party.
Pretty much everyone that was objecting to the certification.
Yeah. Well, I mean, they didn't object for long, but I mean, and we see them. I think in the impeachment that's going on, there are 5 Republican senators who are willing to impeach. They're willing to side with the Democrats to actually go through with the impeachment. They don't have enough votes to do it.
We are almost a whole 2 weeks past Inauguration Day.
Yeah. But they scheduled for March, I think. Trump has a lawyer.
Most executive orders by a president in the first 10 days or something.
Yep. I think it was
40 plus.
45 was the last one I saw. Yep.
Jeez. Like the first week or 2 or 10 days or something. It was like insane.
Yeah. He doesn't even know what he's doing.
Like,
this is all Nancy Pelosi's bidding.
We're going to, the first thing you're going to do is kill jobs.
A lot of jobs. Yeah. We discussed that in the last show.
and they could just, learn to code.
Yeah, which is basically what his press secretary came out and said. Like, no, Buttigieg, when they were interviewing him for the position of, I guess, employment secretary or something, he basically said they're going to have to find other jobs. Basically, learn to fucking code.
And they said, right? Like, hey, before COVID, one of the most fastest growing jobs was solar and wind turbine technicians.
Yeah. That's a end.
And they were like, yeah, because those were subsidized to the moon.
Yeah, exactly. Like, it's not a real market. It's not a real.
Yeah. Now, if there were like, yeah. Yeah.
Now, I have a friend of mine. He went to Oxford and he has his degree, like a doctorate PhD in wind turbine technology. And I don't have the heart to tell him you've wasted your life. Like, that only will be sustained.
Solar. I mean, if you did like solar technology, that would have more promise.
I would say solar has a much better track record and everything else than wind turbines, because that is exclusively a government domain, and it's becoming more and more obvious. It's not a viable solution to anything. But I can't tell him. I'm like, yeah, don't worry, man. The governments will keep subsidizing it. You'll have work forever.
Unless we put wind turbines on like Venus or Jupiter or something.
Right. I'd hate to see who's doing the cabling on that.
You get what I'm saying? Like those are like the most turbulent planets in our solar system, but that's about it. Like, like with solar, literally space is the limit, because you can put panels in space to extract massive amounts of energy when the technology gets there.
Yeah.
Wind turbines are just limited to wind.
Pretty much. I mean, the UK, I think, has one of the largest concentrations, second to Germany, of wind turbines. And for 50 days during our summer, there was zero energy production. Yeah. So this, our prime minister, of course, cucking to the environmentalists, and everybody out here believes in, global warming and all that nonsense. And he's like, oh yeah, we're going to be the Saudi Arabia of wind power. Like, you're fucking idiot. Like, there's no such thing. There's
basically your wind turbines blow.
Pretty much. So yeah, that's definitely a bad take. But you're right. In terms of the U.S. populace and what's been going on with the revolt within the Republican Party, Trump has a war chest now of about $80 million. And he is backing candidates to basically primary every one of these rhino Republicans and anybody who's kind of, did not support him, in the election and fighting the fraud. He's coming after them. So I think governor of Alabama is one of his former press secretaries. I can't remember her name. So yeah. Trump is not. He's not.
Huckabee Sanders.
Huckabee Sanders. Thank you. That's it. Yeah, she's running in Alabama.
Yeah, I thought I saw something about her popping up again. I was like, well, what's going on with her?
Yeah. He's going to fund the war chest, and he's going after them hard. And of all the people who've made like anti-Trump sentiment, they're all being primary. Like every one of them right now has challenges that are going to come up in the midterms. And even the governors, a lot of the governors have been censured by the GOP. I think the chairwoman of the GOP is one of either McCain or one of those people. She's been censured in Wyoming. So they're not taking it lightly. But what is scary is the legislation that the Democrats are trying to push. I don't know if you've heard about their voting reform bill.
I've heard a lot about the crazy gun laws they're trying to pass.
I'm not worried about the gun laws. The gun laws.
Well, yeah, because the gun laws aren't going to go anywhere. They're just going to stay as bills and die.
Yeah. I suspect that. But the voting, that is going to be pretty fucking scary.
What's going on with the voting?
I'm seeing if I have the notes here. So, right. The bill was introduced by Senator Ron Wyden of Representative Earl, whatever fuck thing. So basically what it is, it's everything that gave the Democrats the miraculous power to have unlimited mail-in voting. They're going to implement it. They want to implement it nationwide. So they want to promote the ability to vote by mail. So all registered voters will receive a ballot, whether they request it or not. They're going to expand the options for casting ballots, which basically means you can drop it into a mailbox. You can drop it at the polling station. You can drop it through the mail. So there could be like 6 different copies of your vote and no problem. That's fine. They'll just collect it. Of course, more funding for the UPS.
Wait, hold on. So, I mean, accessibility to drop-off sites is one thing. I know there's going to be a problem with that.
Yes,
but sending you a ballot, whether you request it or not, is a big problem.
Well, I mean, they've done it in the 4 other states, so why would they try to stop it?
No, I get that. I just like.
Yeah, but of course
it's almost like forcing people to vote.
Yeah, but that's exactly what it is.
Yeah,
especially when they're dead, right? So there's actually a provision here about.
Oh yeah, this is the problem too.
Voter rolls. There's actually a provision here like
people who die who are still in the voter registry that are going to get ballots, because the big problem is like this definitely kind of like was a bit of a moment because I can connect it with this when the 1,200 stimulus checks went out.
Yes.
So I got one, my mom got one, so my siblings got one. Great, right?
Yeah.
And then we randomly got another one.
For
my dead dad from 2013. Yeah. 2013.
Yeah.
And we're like,
that's
what? Yeah. And now, not the best decision, but my mom wanted to be the honest person and she sent it back. Whatever.
I think that's wise. Because you still have to pay taxes on it, apparently. So you don't want extra money coming in on that.
Yeah. So, but now thinking of that, like if they can make the mistake of sending all this money for dead people, who's to say that and knowing that voter registries are not nearly as well kept in terms of the records compared to, tax information.
You would hope. Yeah.
You would hope. Like, I would say like taxes, they're definitely like more up to date. Granted, not perfect.
Sure.
Than voter registries, because voter registries, there's been plenty of issues that I've heard of where they just don't keep up.
Yes.
They even admitted and say, yeah, sometimes we do have cases where we just don't know people are dead.
Yeah.
Takes us a while before we catch up on that info. So who's to say they're going to go reaching back, 10 years maybe at least.
Revive the empire, like bring all the voter rolls back online from this is 1776. Why the fuck not? Like there is nothing to stop them from doing that. And the last thing they want to enact before we go off on that title, let me just get the point. Automatic voter registration. So anybody who gets a driving license or any kind of state document, even if they're not a legal resident, automatically registered to vote. Great. Right. This is why I told you the vote is dead. It's of course if this passes. But this is it. They pulled it off in all those other states with no consequences. They basically stolen the White House. Guess what? They're going to ruin voting for everyone now. How exciting is that?
Elon Musk investigated for not hiring non-US citizens.
Yes, they're going after Elon Musk now. Why? Because he's a billionaire, has tremendous influence, and he's not playing the game.
Yeah, this is the big thing, because when they were talking about like this, the jobs problem. So like some guy was basically talking about like, I could just, electric car assembly, because those things need tires and steering wheels and such. And it was like, is this guy just naming off car parts and saying, those guys, these pipeline workers can just go do that? And it's like, yeah, but think about it this way. Who has done the most in the world for electric cars just as an industry? Like made major advance? Yeah, it's Musk.
Yeah, Elon Musk.
And what did they do to him? And what are they still doing to him? They essentially pushed him out of California because it was no longer viable for him to keep his business there. And now they're still coming after him because he's just doing the thing. Like, he's trying to make money too. Like, yeah, I remember at one point I kind of had I was a bit on the fence about him because like he's doing all this cool stuff, but he gets all these subsidies. But at the same time, now I'm looking at it with him making these bigger moves to just kind of like fuck the establishment.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not going to play by the rules. I'm going to just do what I'm going to do to make my money.
Respect.
I can't help but just be like, hey,
I had issue with him because he pushed out the founders of Tesla. So everybody thinks he founded Tesla. No, Martin Eberhard and his partner founded Tesla, and he dicked them out. He basically squeezed them out of the company.
But he's definitely made Tesla a lot more than what it was when he first got into it, right?
Yeah. I'm not going to dispute that. And I mean, I still have my issues with Tesla because nobody sells $1 for 75 cents like Tesla. But that aside, they're not making any money off the cars. They make all their money.
Why is everyone buying their stock? Because I've seen a lot of people making money off their stock.
He's got a very, very strong fan base. Exactly what we're talking about with Wall Street Bets happened before with the Tesla fan base. Basically, they all got together and said, we love the company, and they all started buying.
Yeah.
But it was the same thing. The fundamentals of the company are garbage. And even to this day, there are people who are still holding long shorts on Tesla, basically saying it's not worth anything because they don't make any money on the cars. They make it through government subsidies. They sell EV credits, and that's, he made 150 million. Yeah, none of that is on cars. They're selling government contracts. So it's just paper. But I agree with you. I like his attitude towards the state of, especially in California. I like that he's kind of sticking it to the man. I like that he didn't want to give in on the shutdown of the plant and the COVID restrictions. Respect where respect is due. So I'm totally with you on that. I'm totally with you. Yeah. And now they're coming after him because he's not playing the game. He's calling out the SJWs. He's calling out cancel culture. He's not part of the revolution, even though he was the richest man in the world. This is what people have to kind of wake up to. It's communist thinking. You're dealing with communist thinking. So the reason that the media goes after Spike Cohen and trying to verify if it's a joke is because they don't know what he is. Is he one of us or is he a them?
We're talking, and he basically is pretty close to the face of the libertarian movement as it is right now.
Yeah, which is fine. But that's they still don't know if that's
and because he appeals so widely, but because he's so popular, they're like, okay, what do we do with him? Like,
they don't know what to do. Is he an us or a them? Is he going to play a game? Is he going to play ball or not?
Yes. There's a lot of that going on. I could tell you about that later.
Yeah, I mean, there's the whole thing with the Washington Post basically coming out, oh, gun ownership is white supremacy. We need to disarm it. This is the shit you're dealing with, man.
If we're going to get background checks for getting guns, where do we want a background check on the government?
Yeah, for real. But I think that's why you're seeing the secessionist movement really take off. I mean, the Texas thing is getting pretty loud. It's the legislation has been filed. It looks like it's going to pass. You got other states looking to break off. They're parts of was it Oregon? I think they want to break off and join Idaho. They're parts of what's next to Wyoming, something that's Colorado that wants to break off from Colorado, and they want to join Wyoming because they're sick of these major liberal city centers dictating what goes on in these rural parts of the state.
Yeah.
So they have more.
Same thing even kind of happened in Utah.
Yeah, I heard there's something like that. Where was it, Salt Lake City?
Well, yeah, when I was there and I was visiting the Masculine Geek guys there, they pretty much said, yeah, like Utah is Utah, but Salt Lake City is like being a city center that it is, it's being overrun with more and more like you look around and you can see a difference between like the younger sort of your more liberal generation kind of coming in, taking over the city.
Yes.
And because that's where the population is, because Utah has, some of these states just don't have a high population. It's going to start dictating the rest of the state. Granted, Utah's still got a lot of really strong like Mormon base in it, but
it is the most conservative state in the U.S.
But it's ever so slowly just kind of creeping over a little bit.
Same thing happened in Texas. The state with Austin.
Yeah, Austin.
All of these California people started.
Austin is just little California.
It's a fucking little California. And there was some article that came out. I can't remember who it was. Of some salesperson from California packed up his family and moved to Austin, and then he hated it and he moved them back to California. And funny enough, the thing he said is that most people were rude. And I kind of chuckled to myself. I was like, well, dude, you're in Austin. It's like little California. There's a bunch of fucking liberals and progressives. Yeah. I'm not surprised. Should have gone to Dallas.
Yeah.
But that is actually the concern. And in fact, for some Texans, that's a major concern because they know it could change the politics of the country, of the state, which is why they're kind of more on board with the whole, declaring independence, because now they could have border control.
Man, have we even gone over more than what we've gone over? What, two, 3 topics now?
Yeah. We're done.
You had a couple more, didn't you?
Yeah. I've got. I mean, there's been such a huge fuck up with the COVID vaccine out here in the UK and with Europe. So the January 30th was the anniversary for Brexit out here in the UK. So congratulations, yay us, woohoo, yeah, awesome. Rule Britannia. Now the UK is ahead of the entire world when it comes to vaccinations, right? So I think at this point we've vaccinated more people than per capita than any other country. Now the EU is lagging behind. Let's put it lightly. We have European drug companies that are developing vaccines that are going to supply the UK vaccines faster and sooner before the EU. So the EU, in obviously looking very embarrassed, they're unable to kind of coordinate and get things done very quickly, decided to raid, quote unquote, one of AstraZeneca's locations I think it's in Belgium, to do an inventory check to find out how many drugs were actually going to the UK and are not coming to the EU. And I mean, this is fucking Stasi. This is Nazi type of behavior that's going on. And basically they're trying to steal the drugs that were intended for the UK.
Mm-hmm.
So anyway, they backpedaled on that. And of course, this is causing a rift between Ireland and Northern Ireland. So Northern Ireland is part of the UK, Ireland, Republic of Ireland, which is still in the EU. The Brits are getting all of the vaccines. The Irish, Republic of Irish are not getting squat, right? They're not getting any of the vaccines. In fact, it's so bad that the UK has basically said, yeah, we'll help the Irish. Like we will save Ireland where the EU is basically fucking up, right? So anyway, the mask of the EU has completely fallen off. This idea that, it's this benevolent, Federation of Europe and they only have the best interests of the Europeans at heart. No, that fucking shit is gone completely. They've been shown to be these dictatorial, tyrannical people.
Curvy bananas, bro.
Yeah, curvy bananas, like the import standards. But it's become so hopeless. It's become so ridiculous that individual countries are now sourcing their own drugs. So I think like Hungary is buying it from the Chinese. Poland is getting it, I don't know, from Russia. Or one of these. I don't know the details. But it just shows the shambles. And they have yet, the European drug companies that are in Europe, in France, and these other places, have not even gotten orders from the EU for vaccinations. So the UK, we signed research agreements back in September. We've had first round, like paid for 40 million vaccines. All of that's been done. The EU hasn't even gotten off the start line. So it's showing cracks in.
Heck, we're getting vaccines and shit. Like I'm hearing like vaccine posts on Facebook are a new thing now. Just got my vaccine, got my vaccine. Yeah.
A lot of our frontline staff have been vaccinated. 80% of the people over 80 have been vaccinated. A lot of them are dead, but that's a whole other story. But yeah, at least the rollout was successful.
Yeah. I mean, for all I know, I might have the vaccine already too.
Yeah, maybe you do. We'll know in a couple of months if you die, we can say, yeah, definitely, for sure.
Now I think I've told some, now it's just blood draws.
Yeah, they're monitoring.
Yeah, I go in, they don't even do respiratory. I think they do respiratory series if I caught COVID while with the vaccine.
Right.
But otherwise, I literally go in, sit down, draw some blood, and I leave, and I get paid $100. So
yeah, cool. Nothing wrong with that.
But throw that back into Robin Hood.
But they've still halted trading on all of these things. Tim Pool just put a video up basically saying there's a wave of buyers to push the price back up and they're not letting them buy. So yeah.
Now BLM got a Nobel Peace Prize.
Well, they've been nominated. They've been nominated.
Sorry.
Yes. I don't know if the Peace Prizes happened as yet. But that is some horse shit if ever I've heard of it.
I mean, if they're getting one, then the Capitol protesters must get one too.
I would think. I mean, the BLM did do more damage.
The guy with the horns up there with a Nobel Peace Prize.
I mean, the BLM, they did more damage, right? $2.2 billion in Minneapolis. I think, they take the cake. They don't meet any of the requirements for the Nobel Peace Prize, but fuck it. These things don't matter anyway. So yeah. They've been nominated for a Nobel Peace Prize. How fucking ridiculous is that? It just shows you all of it is a fucking psyop. All of this shit is just propaganda. So the Nobel Peace Prize has nothing to do with actually making world peace.
Keep it okay. Nobel, the guy who created the Nobel Prize.
Yes.
What did he invent?
Gunpowder.
Well, dynamite.
Oh, dynamite, yes. It's not gunpowder. That's right. It's dynamite.
The Chinese invented gunpowder. So I'm just thinking, maybe there's something about, destruction and
it was to cover his guilty conscience.
And then now it's kind of come full circle.
But basically, I mean, at one time these things were prestigious and reputable and stuff.
Oh,
but
everything. I mean, in the sciences, you definitely can still see that.
Sure. And literature, you used to be able to, not anymore. It's all, trans, lesbian amputees and stuff like that. But the Nobel Peace Prize has not been has not been not politicized for at least
like if you discover something crazy in science, you're probably getting nominated, but then all the other categories just
Greta Thunberg was nominated. I mean, and Donald Trump, who actually fucking deserves it, who's actually not only met one, but all the criteria and done more for world peace than anybody else on this entire thing. Of course, he's not going to get it. But yeah, it just shows all these awards and all of it's been politicized and it's all part of the machine now. So yeah, that's the bullshit. So when you explain to somebody, oh yeah, Black Lives Matter is burning down, half of Portland or whatever, as they're doing to this day, they're still fucking rioting.
Yeah, they broke into the Portland Democrat HQ, I think.
Yeah, spray painted it, destroyed it, fuck Biden, all that. So when they do that, some fucking syphilis-infected SJW is going to say, but they won a Nobel Peace Prize. They're peaceful. There's
definitely going to be a shift. Like, as much as there's that shift in the Republican Party, but they're split because of being between populace and establishment. That's going to start happening a lot more over the next 4 years within the left.
I would suspect so.
Because they're kind of like, on one hand, they're like, okay, we got our guy in, we got Trump out, woohoo, but at what cost?
It's not even that, because
he hasn't, like, there was the whole thing. He refuses to meet with BLM.
Right, I was about to say that they know they're
undoing the executive orders that basically helped low-income families get certain types of, like, insulin or something.
Yeah, he undid the America First kind of drug company stuff. So yes, that as well.
So he's doing all these things that's undermining, like,
a
lot of stuff to really hurt the middle and lower class, and denying the plight of all these people that he claimed to care about through the campaign.
Yep.
Yeah, people are going to start realizing, like, okay, are they going to move forward? Is this just going to be the populace versus the establishment? It's not going to be left or right as much.
I think it's always going to be that. In this day and age, it's that is the politics of this day and age, is basically populism versus the elites. And you're already seeing it. You see people like AOC, Ilhan Omar, these very radical leftist kind of propositions, representatives. They're getting fucking elected, man. They're coming in.
Yeah.
And as I say, they're not part of they're trying not to be a part of the establishment. Many of them are kind of being paid off. But yeah, they are causing troubles within the Democratic Party.
Squad.
Yeah, the squad and these other ones. So as we discussed in the last one, the whole non-gender agenda for the Congress, where you can't have gendered language. Where do you think that came from? That came from the squad. And because there's so few Democrats in the House that actually control a majority, I think it's only 5 votes separates the majority. Now the establishment has to rely on the squad, which is about 10 or 15 people.
Yeah.
So in order to get their vote, they have to give them stuff. You got to give them some of the crazy shit that they want. So they're going to get a vote on Medicare for all. They're going to get a vote on making DC a state, and Puerto Rico and Guam, and they're going to get all these really harebrained ideas. Not that it'll pass. God help, please. We hope it doesn't pass. But that's what it is. You got to appease the crazies now because you need their votes, right?
But even on the right, they're going to have to do some compromises too. The establishment is going to have to give in to the populace and vice versa.
It's different on the right because the populace have taken over. Right? The populace, the deplorables have basically controlled the Republican.
The deplorables.
Right? Yeah. The deplorables own the Democratic.
Yeah.
Because they're not all Republicans. And we make this distinction. Trump voters are not necessarily the same thing as Republicans. But they've lost. They've lost. Like Mike Pence thinking he's going to run in 2024. Get fucking real.
Yeah.
Right? The one who they see him as like the Judas character who threw Trump under the bus and not rejecting the Electoral College. He's fucked. They're never going to vote for him. Anybody who went against Trump is done. Because if they expect any votes from the largest block of Republican votes, you got to toe the line. You got to be on the populist line. So the battle is lost on the right. It's getting hot on the left.
Well, I think as a fun little thing, let's see. You've GOP.
Yeah, what's that?
GOP Congresswoman.
Oh, this is a space lady, space laser
Space
lady.
lasers.
I don't know much about her. I mean, I heard the joke, and I heard some post that she made many years ago about the wildfires.
Okay.
What's her name? What's her name?
I don't even know how to pronounce that.
Okay.
Marjorie Taylor Greene, representative from Georgia's 14th district.
Okay.
So she made some comment. I don't know exactly when, but it basically got publicized, and I thought it was hilarious,
Right.
because all the memes that came out of it. Basically blamed all the wildfires in a lot of the wildfires in California were ignited by Jewish space lasers.
Right.
So the Jewish Space Laser Agency came out and said, we didn't start the fire. Anyways, and then they started finding out that she basically was kind of like becoming also kind of the face of the QAnon phenomenon in Congress. She's kind of sputtered off a ton of these like really crazy conspiracy theories that QAnon was going on about, like even crazier than some of their stuff. I think.
I don't know much about her, so I don't know.
So
the question you need to be asking is, why are they going after this crazy rather than another? What is her claim to fame? Is she the one who's filed the impeachment against Biden?
No.
Okay, so why are they going after this woman?
Jewish space lasers? I don't know. I mean, that's all I really. I mean, yeah. I know it's not like probably the only reason, but I just that's what I heard about, and so the meme that was going around was someone threw Spike Cohen's face on Dr. Evil,
right,
doing the quotation marks, and stop sending me this meme about Jewish space lasers. And then there was even people that drew, like, someone took the Death Star and
put a menorah on it.
They put a Star of David at the weapons area.
Yeah.
Shooting out the laser.
That's pretty cool. I do love the memes. The memes are fantastic.
But it's just, I don't know what to think. Like,
I mean, I don't know. I'm seeing her. It's a very long tweet that she has here. Something about it. It doesn't say explicitly Jewish space lasers. But I'll have to read it and see. I don't know. I don't know much about it. I just know there was some congresswoman who made some comment a long time ago. The question I would ask is, why are they digging up now? Why? What is she doing? She's such a threat that they need to paint her as a crazy. And maybe she is a crazy. I don't care. I mean, sometimes that's very entertaining. But that's the question I would be asking.
Public express for support for the QAnon. She was the leading candidate for a strongly Republican 14th district. Okay.
I don't know.
She is close to the word. Well, this is CNN's take on it.
Yeah, I'll have to double check. I mean, we got like a minute and a half here on that. It's not.
Yeah,
I
just wanted to throw that in as a fun.
Yeah, it's not fair to spend it doing research.
Yeah, throw a little point at the end there about Jewish space lasers. So
yeah, apparently she didn't say that. Yeah, it's a conspiracy about Rothschilds building solar space mirrors. So somebody went and took that as Rothschilds and they came up with the phrase Jewish space lasers.
I mean, it's still pretty crazy either way, though. The whole Rothschild conspiracy theory about, how they're manipulating
Yeah, I'll have to read the whole thing and stuff like that. I don't think it's actually.
But even if you're saying like, yeah, the Rothschilds created mirrors in space to reflect sunlight and ignite wildfires, I'm thinking, like I'll believe more like if there was another thing, like people believe that a lot of the wildfires in California were stirred up by Antifa. Like I'll believe that more than the Rothschilds are using mirrors to focus.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's not what she said. But I'll have to go through it. I got the tweet here, so I'll have to go through it. And again, because anytime the media says this is what it is, it's usually not what it is. So I don't know enough about it to comment it, but I do see here that they're saying, look, she never said Jewish space laser. She mentioned about the Rothschilds and she talked about mirrors in space. I don't know if she meant it literally or in the future or what. So I'd have to read it to see. But
that's still like...
Nah, if it's coming from the media, there's an ulterior motive. I don't believe anything these people are saying.
Yeah.
I mean, especially in like the pushing the silver thing. When you see how blatant the lie is, you have to look at everything they say as what is the agenda? What are they really trying to do?
Someone made some crazy claim that like if all Americans went to go just buy a few ounces of silver.
Yeah, I got that video. I saw that.
Like
if you buy 2 or 3 ounces, it would freeze up the world supply.
You would have GameStop times 10. Just insane.
Yeah. And it's a lie. It's not true. The reason that, again, that is where the hedge funds put that out because they're holding silver. So they want to drive the price up so that they can sell to cover the losses for GameStop.
GameStop at 110.
Yeah, but I think it's halted, right?
Yeah, so if you see it there was a big dip at open, then it kind of came back up, and now it's kind of dipping back down, but kind of evening out. Yeah. So I'm guessing it's kind of even out a bit and either go way up or down somehow. I don't know.
Yeah, it depends on how many buyers are there. So if they're not letting them buy,
the squeeze is supposed to play out over the neck this entire week. It wasn't all going to happen in one day.
Yeah, the option expiry is going to be today. So a lot of puts and other things are for the hedge funds are probably going to be cleared out. The market makers have to clear out by today. So that's going to be part of it. We'll see. It is going to go on for weeks though. So I'm glad we got to hit it while it's hot,
you think GME could hit 1,000?
No. But you see,
a big claim
there's no fundamental reason for any of this. Like it really
they kept saying like if we all hold and they want to buy and we won't sell, they have to buy.
Yeah, I don't know if it's going to hit 1,000. I think that it might retest the high that it's got, which is what 420 and change. That's possible. Yeah, 4,690. That's possible. I don't think there's enough buying pressure to shoot it up to 1,000. But they're saying the same thing about silver. They're saying, "Oh yeah, we're gonna get silver to 1,000." It's like, are you out of your goddamn mind? Do you know how much silver?
I mean, I've heard of the disparity between the ratio between silver and gold. Yes. Has always been a little bit too far. So people always thought there's going to be a correction to both to kind of like balance out. Like
balance out, yeah.
But I've been hearing that for years. So
yeah. I mean, adjusted for inflation, silver should be at about $800 an ounce, right? From the high. I think the high was many years ago when somebody cornered the silver market back in the 1800s. And then they tried it again in the 80s. So it's not possible. They really can't do it anymore. So I think maybe today an average price should be about 120, right? Like if it were to just kind of keep track with inflation, not from the highs, but kind of mid-range sort of thing. But people have been waiting for that for centuries, man. People have been waiting that forever. Yeah. And the reason they keep it low is because silver is used in all the manufacturing. They don't want silver to go up. They've already lost out on gold, but gold is also, money. So gold has gone up.
Gold is, in terms of electronics, gold is not quite. There's some, but it's not as like crazy as people might think.
I think there's more in silver with solar panels and other things, rare metals in batteries. I think more so silver is used than gold. I mean, they're both manufacturing metals.
Right.
But that's why they keep the price low, because the electronics, they like slave labor and they like cheap, materials. That's how they make the big money. So,
right.
Yeah. It's all fucking fake, man. The news is fake. The market is fake. Are you fake?
It's like the filter drops. Oops.
Yeah. It's a deep fake the whole time.
Yeah. All those pictures of us hanging out, all those times we've met up.
Yeah. It's just all bullshit, man.
Anyways, we're coming up on our time here.
Yeah, cool, man.
Now, of course, thanks everyone for joining us on our Tuesday broadcast. I hope to be back on the next Tuesday with everything going on. And we should, I think from now on we'll be doing Tuesdays for the time being. I know everyone's probably wondering why we keep changing. It's because a lot of things changing at my job with the new year, the going from Christmas into this, and the weather and a bunch of other things. So they're gonna have me on a different schedule now where I have to do the streams on Tuesdays. So thanks everyone for joining us, of course. You know what? We
haven't done a promotion.
We haven't done anything.
Haven't washed our balls.
If you do enjoy the show, do check out Tactical Soap. They sponsor the show. Use the coupon code 10KRUM. That's 10KRUM to get 10% off on your purchase. A little bit of that goes to us. If you check out subscribestar.com/shitlord-preachers, that's our monthly pledge program where you can basically pledge the show directly for as little as $1 a month. $1. For that, you get access to our Discord server, which has not been taken down like Wall Street Bets. Well, they brought it back. They brought it back.
Yes.
They took it down, then brought it back. But
for hate speech.
Hate speech.
Yeah, that could be fucking
anything. For as little as $1 a month, and of course we have our. We're gonna be getting back to we're gonna do the raw takes more often too. So, if my schedule opened up a bit, we could definitely get back on doing some of those as well. But we do appreciate everyone for joining us, for subscribing, leaving a like, leaving a comment, click on the notifications so you're notified when the show is on. And of course, for everyone who supports the show and is watching, we thank you for that. But we will, of course, be back here next Tuesday, same time, same place, and we will see everyone next week.
Thanks for watching, everyone.